Let's see where we go. Now, so the interesting thing with green steel in this meta, and I say in the Infinity meta, is even at the end of before rotation, these green steel decks can do different things.
Yeah.
Most of them are like discard draw engines, but there's other ways to tech them with pirates and other things to do. So I'm excited to see which way we've decided to build this, or we've designed this deck. A Beast Tragic Hero card that I miss heading into the Inkwell there, bringing out Diablo, taking a peek at Fetty's hand.
Yeah, absolutely. Tragic Hero is a card that I actually really connected with when it first came out. I really love the story. If you can't tell, being a caster, telling stories is kind of the thing that I do. So if you think about the story of Beauty and the Beast, if Belle is sad and tragic, that therefore must mean that the final petal has fallen off the rose, and it just makes you really sad to think about that, you know?
That does make you sad.
Doesn't it? Yeah, it is. But he is, and hence why he is tragic. Speaking of Belle, we see that apprentice inventor coming down after dismantling a popsicle.
Yeah, dismantling it, eating it. I mean, she is an inventor, probably tinkered with it.
Yeah.
And it blew up in the lab there, as we're seeing. On turn 2, Wink coming out here with the Ursula. He knows what's in the hand.
Yeah.
He knows that the storm is there, but he doesn't even show. Just throws it into the discard pile.
Yeah.
I don't know, a little spite maybe there. I don't know. But that Ursula check on 2, and that's going to keep that Diablo safe. So Diablo now online. Now these cards are the Emerald Steel, known often as a discard deck. There were heavy discard variants, and for sure this deck is going to make use of some discard, but really what they are value engines. These decks are ones that give you an incredible resource advantage through some card draw engines, which, left unchecked, allow you to run away with the game. And there's really 3. One is Beast Tragic Hero, which is a passive one. It sits there, draws you a card every turn. 2 is an unchecked Diablo that draws you cards every time your opponent draws cards. And 3 is that Prince John, which you mentioned earlier. And any one of those, if left to their own devices, can win you the game.
Yes, it can. Boy, oh boy, can Prince John win you some games, and in the most evil, vile way possible.
Yes. He sits back there, he counts his gold, he's warded, and he just watches you suffer as you give him cards.
And he's not just greedy, Liam. He's the greediest of them all.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, goodness.
Yep.
As we see a decision here for that vision of the future, what is it that we took, Fetty? Show us. Let's see. Oh, or maybe not. We will learn later what we will find.
His surprise card. Somebody asking in the chat, do we know what decks made the top 8? I believe it is 2 Dogs, 1 Emerald Steel, 2 Ruby Sapphire, and then I think the Sapphire Steel rounds out the other 3.
Yeah, very nice. All right, and we see that Diablo just hanging out right now. You know, a good Diablo is one that is in the discard pile after perhaps a Fire the Cannons of some kind. Not seeing that. We do see Let the Storm Rage On in the discard pile, as we know, sent there by Ursula herself, the Deceiver. Can we find another one? Because Diablo tends to run away with the game with the card draw advantage for Wink if it's allowed to survive longer than it needs to.
And this is so mean here. Peak Games Referee, a card that was all the rage for a while, disappeared in the standard meta for a bit. A couple of people worked him back in. We did see him in Amber Steel for a while, but coming down here really to protect that Diablo. And it's a really mean thing to do because not only does it prevent the actions from being drawn, but one of the things that Fetty wants to do is be doing things like dropping popsicles, drawing cards, and this Diablo punishes you for pursuing your win con.
Yeah,
so
Pete's pretty mean, but there's something else a little bit meaner than Pete. And that is a Space Pirate Pete. And let's see, I did see it in hand, something that we haven't seen really blow up into this core constructed meta, but in Infinity, it's very powerful to be able to limit songs, much like that Let the Storm Rage On that we just sent away into the discard pile.
Yeah. And this game right now, Ursula, Deceiver of all. Look at this. All the way back from, was it set 3 or was it set 4? It's set 3.
Yeah.
This art by Matthew Robert Davies. This card can double sing songs. It sings you song once, and then it sends it to the bottom of your deck to sing it again. And once you establish it, you just cross your fingers and hope it survives till the next turn because you've got some shenanigans in mind. And it's one of those that as soon as your opponent plays it, you say, oh, man, I really want an answer for this. But what this deck does, too, is it gives you these impossible choices. If Fetty does find some removal, and in this case, Ursula is too much to remove with the strength or Let the Storm Rage On, but you're trying to pick which one is the more dangerous, and both of these cards really dangerous right now.
Yeah, I mean, just so many viable choices to be made here. What do you deal with? What do you handle? You've got Pete with an impending shift target on the way.
Oh
no!
Oh no!
Has arrived.
No!
The greediest of all. If you missed him, stop it because he's right here. He never left.
And let's look at what just happened here. We sang it once, we sang it again. Fetty discarding 2 cards, Wink drawing 2 cards. That Prince John going into action immediately. Then, just insult to injury, Diablo is going to sing one of the songs we just drew, Strength of Raging Fire, onto that card, clean it off the board, and now, again, insult to injury,
Yeah.
Fetty's going to go draw a card, and Wink's going to draw a card for turn because that Diablo is still online.
Oh, yeah. Wink is cheesing, folks. If you don't think he's grinning under that beard, I promise you he is. I know him well enough to know he is stoked. He's playing this because he knows it upsets people, but he also wants to win games. And, you know, what better way to win than card advantage and the reduction of cards in Fetty's hand? Although, given that, Fetty is choosing some cards, looking at Vision of the Future, trying to make up that difference that we just lost with some cards. What are we going to do? We're going to ink a Hiram. We're going to play that Let the Storm Rage on. Wait, thinking, what's happening?
Yep, just double checking.
Oh, okay, so it looks like there may be, okay.
Yeah, quick judge call. I'm trying to think of what it might be. We did play the 3.
Oh, you know what it might be?
What's that?
The very infamous call here. Do you draw for the Let the Storm Rage on as a result of the Diablo? They may be trying to confirm that, if I had to guess, but we're gonna double check.
Yeah, and I believe you do, right?
You do because the way it works is when you play an action, the game state check freezes. So Diablo does not leave the board. So when the Let the Storm Rage on is played, you deal 2 damage. 2 damage is placed on Diablo, but Diablo is not removed from the board until after the complete resolution of Let the Storm Rage on. Therefore, when Fetty draws that card, Diablo sees that. We draw the card, the action has been resolved, the game state check then turns back on and says, hey, Diablo, you've got some damage on you, just enough to send you into this.
By the way, the referee walks over, checks for paintball markers, and is like, yep, you got 2 on there.
You've been tagged.
Yeah, and so I think you're exactly right. That's what's happening here. And one thing to keep in mind, too, we are going to draw a card off the Let the Storm Rage on to refill the hand. Now, we've already inked for turn. We can't play anything else unless we want to play a Bell and discard the Fishbone Quill, which you probably don't want to do here. But anytime at this point that Prince John is on the board, you're leaving the option or the opportunity for your opponent to get a card off the discard. Yeah. And so that Fishbone Quill actually could come in handy if Fetty wants to keep his hand empty to keep that Prince John from doing some work.
Yeah, as we see Judge Matt there just surveying it. And, yeah, that's exactly what it was. There's a bit of a confirmation here. Identifying, yep, exactly. So identifying what it was that I just pointed out and confirming that Wink can, in fact, draw that card.
Yeah, and even though the last note on what I just said, sometimes you have to risk it. You keep the card in hand, and he does have 2, so at this point only able to put 1 into the inkwell.
Yes, the kids say you got to risk it for the biscuit.
Risk it for the biscuit. That's true.
You got to do it. As we see, it's a very strong position for Wink here. Some of the finest characters in his deck just laid out there, the glimmers, waiting to see what will Fetty do. But it's going to be very difficult as we ink and then we pass.
Yeah, man, that Prince John's so mean. The ward is really what, oh, man. And to top it off, we have the ink to do it. We just draw into another one of our card engines. It's that Beast Tragic Hero. It looks like all 5 are swinging over. That's it. Off the top deck, Beast Tragic Hero coming into play. And this really is tragic for Fetty.
Yes.
2 of the card draw engines. We got the Diablo offline finally, but now we have the other 2 card draw engines with the Prince John and the Tragic Hero sitting there. And it's just a challenge. These Sapphire Steel decks, they have a lot of removal, but it's a lot of single target, sometimes damage-based removal.
Yeah.
Often, always damage-based removal.
Yeah.
Unless you're running Let It Goes or something. But
sure.
But it's really difficult to deal with 2 or 3 threats when you have an empty board, and you really want to be pursuing your game plan and instead of spending all of your ink doing removal.
Yeah, and I can barely see them, but I see something in Wink's hand that I don't think we're allowed to talk about.
No.
We'll figure that out. So we will say nothing until we know more, but we do see a Fortisphere hitting the table, and we also see a Popsicle. 2 cards that do similar things, except they're different colors. They draw a card, and they each have a different effect. One will heal a character for up to 2 damage. The other one can choose a character to be a bodyguard for a turn.
And the importance of that Beast Tragic Hero is going to come into play here because that card, which we're not going to talk about until we see it played,
we're not allowed to.
Is a 4-cost song, not able to be sung by anything in the board before that Tragic Hero hits. So getting off that top deck there was absolutely huge. Yeah. And it's going to, it was sad. It's sad for Fetty here because that Hiram is not likely to be on the board much longer.
Absolutely. I mean, the walls, they seem to be, there's somebody, I think, living in the walls, Liam. I'm not sure who it is. There's somebody that we shouldn't be talking about. There's something that we shouldn't be saying. But Wink isn't saying it yet. Let's take a look as we see now. Wink looking at that Deceiver of All Ursula, kind of fanning out the ink, doing a quick count, making sure that we're making the right choices. And it appears as though we are committing to turn. Oh, we don't talk about Bruno.
No.
There you go.
And discarding a card at random here, it's usually 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 visions of the future here being targeted. That Prince John's going to see that. We're going to draw a card off that as well. We don't talk about Bruno. It's a little bit nicer when you have a little buffer in your hand. It always feels bad to have a card sent to the discard pile when he takes a trip to your hand and then it's immediately discarded when you have an empty hand. But Winker now playing that song for full cost instead of singing it so he can get the 2 lore off that beast. And now starting the lore race and up to 15?
Yeah, and a morph just sitting, waiting for somebody to come and to learn how to be them, because we may want to shift. Lots of shift targets in Wing's deck. We've seen the Space Pirate Pete in hand at some point, although I don't think we see it now. It might be in the Inkwell at this point. But lots of shift targets for Wing to target that morph with. But we're not going to see that shift target because Fetty said, you know what, let's go to game 2.
Now we'll see if Wink has that first turn Diablo again. There's plenty of 1-drops in this deck. Oh, what is that?
That's a Heffalump. You summon the Heffalumps and Woozles, and it is now in Wink's hand. So
they're very confusals.
Very, very confusals, yeah. As we are going to go ahead and play a very classic line for Emerald Steel, which is a ink a card to play a Diablo. Of note, the ink that was selected, a card from the Fabled set. It is Max Goof.
Well, there we go.
Yeah.
We see a new card.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and what a card, right? Grab a song, put it into your hand. It's hard to beat.
Yeah.
It's hard to beat when you're playing Ursula, Deceiver of All.
Yeah, plenty of 3-cross songs in here. There's the removal, there's the discard, there's all sorts of options. Over on Fetty's side, he does find that turn 2 ramp, so that Tipo being established on the board will prevent any free questing from that Diablo.
Yeah.
So on script here, except again, missing that bell does shut down that Diablo line, and I do see the Diablo in hand.
Yeah.
Plenty of actions to discard. So the question is, do we want to roll with it? Because the problem is you do commit a lot of resources to this line. You lose 2 characters potentially if it's removed. We are going to sing to Let the Storm Rage on to refill that, get that uninkable out of hand. We drew into more removal.
Oh my goodness, this is going to be something to see. You've got multiple songs. You've got so many strength ranges odds that you can ink one to play an Ursula. However, there are no songs of note.
Look at that spooky sight though.
That's a pretty good card into this matchup. I mean that could be good to deal with a Diablo. The drawing from Diablo is very, very problematic. So sending that card into the Inkwell, not as much of a punish when the alternative is, hey, how about I just draw a bunch of cards?
Mm-hmm. That spooky sight could loom large here, but Tamatoa coming down into the Inkwell. Scrooge McDuck coming down. I'm not very good at that. Looking for a card off the top deck. He finds the Fortisphere, and we're going to put it in the Inkwell.
Liam, we've entered into the unhinged phase of this. I can tell, but I'm having a great time with it. I'm
loving it for hours. It's just we're going further down. Back over to Wink for the response. Let's see. We do have that Tragic Beast for later. The Muse is in there. That's another card that people love to hate.
I love the Muses. What a great card. What a sad thing to go away from rotation. But I understand it. That was a very, very powerful way to deal with the board. We talk about removal. You mentioned single target removal. There's also what I like to call tempo removal, something that sends something away temporarily. You take a card, put it back into your opponent's hand. It'll come back later. But oftentimes, especially in this game, especially in the game of Lorcana, one turn is often the difference between winning and losing the game.
Absolutely. Ink Runner, a new card coming down there. That is an anti-evasive card, which could come into play here, and it does immediately, allowing that Scrooge. What a fantastic play there. That Scrooge McDuck goes swinging into the Diablo, riding on an Ink Runner, shooting him down from the sky.
Yeah.
What an image.
Yeah, that poor bird thought it was floating free. Never seen an Ink Runner in its life. And all of a sudden, so long after it's just been around just terrorizing the skies, this Ink Runner coming out and saying, hey, come back here, bird. I got to catch you.
Yeah, sending both those cards down to the discard pile. What a great play.
Yep.
Yeah, oftentimes the Ink Runner not really, I mean, it's kind of in here for this matchup. It does want to get rid of the Diablos, but also really there to deal with the Genies and the Elsas and the Dumbos and all those Amethyst Menace cards. And but the occasional Diablo, a nice target for the Ink Runner.
Yeah, not a bad take. As we see, we are entering into the item play phase. We're drawing a bunch of cards, playing items, drawing cards, playing Fortispheres, playing Popsicles,
healing ducks,
healing the ducks. Just getting as much value as you can from the cards in your hand. We love value. This is all about value.
And now Wink here, not much on the board, but a pretty full grip, plenty of options. I am eyeballing that Beast Tragic Hero on turn 5, but we have to get there. We got to get through this turn. We do have those Muses, which we could establish on turn 4, and that'll allow us to do some bouncy shenanigans. Plenty of fun options
Yeah,
with
absolutely.
those muses.
Yeah, and Muses is officially done. Muses is warded, which creates a whole level of problems for it. Ink Runner does not get around Ward, unfortunately. It does get around Evasive, doesn't get around Ward. So as long as that Muses can stay around, can stay on this table, songs that are being played will allow Wink to select characters that'll get bounced back to hand, specifically characters with 2 strength or less.
Hiram Flavisham coming down now, munching on one of those Fortis Spheres, drawing a couple cards. That is critical for these Sapphire decks in the mid-game. You really need to establish some card draw as you burn through your hand, inking extra with the Tipo and the Fishbone Quills, perhaps. So this feels pretty good. Hopefully it sticks around until next turn.
Yeah, as we see, okay, we're going to continue to ramp. We're playing that Sail the Azurite Sea. We want to see if there's anything else. Do we choose to ink a second card? Are we going to lose a resource? We're opting to, is it quest? We are questing. We are going to 1, so we're tied up 1-1. But will we actually use cards in our hand to ink? That's a very important question. Or are those cards just too important right now in this very soft, sensitive part of this game where we've got 2 characters on the board on either side? We're trying to put our foot down into the ground, establish a footing so we can accelerate ourselves into the next portion of this game and just win it.
Yeah, it is interesting because in these matchups, you do try to think about some insurance. If you have some lines that you need and you have the exact ink you need to get there and the cards that you need, all of that, sometimes you like to keep if you have the option to ink extra, sometimes you like to keep a buffer. So if you get hit by a sudden chill, or we don't talk about Bruno, you have a bit of insurance and you're not forced to lose a card that you'll need.
Absolutely, yeah. Insurance is the name of the game here. As we see that Wink, lots of cards in hand, as you mentioned, a lot of options. Looks like many songs. And so, the thing about this game that is unique to other games is the ability to sing songs, to play actions without having to turn cards sideways. So we're choosing to play a character in that Tragic Beast instead of a song, singing with muses that... what's the name of that song again? I haven't heard of it in a long time. There's another one about Thunderbolts, though.
And then along came Zeus.
And then along came Zeus.
And the muses singing it the flavor here is absolutely on point.
Absolutely, yeah. Isn't it beautiful? That's a great point. As we see now, Wink has dismantled Fetty's board, but can Fetty recover from this? That's gonna be important here.
Yeah, and getting the Flavisham back to hand feels okay. You can play him again and draw cards. You'd love to quest with him. Now, Happy as a Clam coming down, pulling that Fortis Sphere out of the discard pile. And Tipo coming down. We're going to play the Popsicle, so rebuilding the item engine. We have that Flavisham to play later on, so now another big threat. And Bell coming down now, eating that Fortis Sphere. So a couple characters on board, able to answer those questers next turn.
Yeah, I'd imagine eating a rock causes a lot of indigestion. I wouldn't recommend it. So, folks, if you're at home, do not eat Fortis Spheres.
We cannot recommend it.
No, cardboard or reel. As we see, he's back,
man.
folks.
He's
so back. We are so back. Prince John is so back.
Well, and we have a potential 1-2 combo here. I believe a Bruno in hand, so we could do some shenanigans, bouncing and returning, and it's going to be... yeah, we'll see.
Yeah, Liam, what does it say about me that I love Prince? John?
I have picked up that you are an Emerald apologist.
What? Yeah, you're absolutely right.
You are also wearing Emerald.
I am. Yes, I am.
Which I am somewhat uncomfortable with.
Yeah, you should be very scared. I don't blame you. but thank you for bearing with it and sitting next to me anyway. I appreciate you.
I appreciate you as well.
Yes, and so Wink, of course, in what we call the tank, thinking through, we've got Fetty fanning out the hand, showing Wink, here, these are the cards I have. You want to deal with that, or do you want to deal with the characters I've got? I've got Tamatoa, very scary character. Every time that thing quests, you get free items. So we're trying to make some decisions here. Can Wink find the line to get out of this and figure this out? They're both in a very low in lore count, very sensitive spot on the board. Wink is asking lots of questions about Ink Runner. Hey, so exactly how does this card work again? Give me a little bit of a run-through. Give me a tutorial of what this card does.
Yeah. Also checking cards in hand. You can see them fanned out there. But yeah, several different options here.
Yes, there are some ways to go. Oof, which way do we go? What do you think?
These are the turns that try people's souls.
Yeah, tell me about it.
And Ursula going for a quest here. Muses will be singing.
Yeah. All right, and that's a Let the Storm Rage On, which will enable another card in hand. And boy, oh boy, yet another song. Oh, interesting choice here. So choosing to bring back that Ursula with the Muses, which will allow him to deploy that character later on. Will we be able to use the great effect?
What is he looking for? Let's see. Oh, there's that Max Goof.
Goof. We love to see it. Bringing back Let the Storm Rage On. We are going to keep singing these songs, keep bringing them back. This is pretty scary if we can keep bringing back songs like what we're seeing.
And then, boom! What a sequence!
Yes.
Max Goof using, and then bouncing it back to hand. It's a song loop. What a goofy combo.
Yeah. Boy, oh boy. Okay, so we're inking that larger Max Goof, the shift, to play the Ursula. And we found the song. Oh my gosh, so much value. Getting a song out of the hand, dismantling characters off of the board with songs, bringing songs back. I have a headache from how much my head is spinning.
There's no wonder he was thinking through that turn so long.
Yes, and he found the line. He found the way through. The only character left on Fetty's side of the board was the Bell. And boy, oh boy, does she find another inventor that we all love so very, very much.
Yeah, when he brought back that Ursula, I was like, maybe they were saving that for a little bit later to check for something, but no, deployed right away. And that feels really, really. The only blessing is that Prince John wasn't on the board to make some use of it. But Fetty here, clearly, I mean, neither player out of this game. I do feel like the momentum a little bit is with Wink, just because he has some really interesting interactive cards on the board, and that Beast Tragic Hero is going to do some work every single turn. May consider crashing into it or something to.
Yeah. If he doesn't crash into it, he might crash out if he's not careful. So we got to figure that out too.
Maybe, but this Muse is also vulnerable here. And if it's a card that you're kind of annoyed with, you could forego questing with the Flavisham to clear those up with the Bell. So there's some options here if you want to either, ding the Beast a little bit or take care of those Muses. You could also use the card draw. So lots of variants this turn, lots of different options. Yeah,
Infinity really on full display here. We're getting to see how some of the cards that have recently come out interact with some of the cards that we love and know from our previous life. With this Infinity format, people noting in the chat that Max Goof interaction is pretty spicy, pretty fun interaction.
I think the word they use is gross.
Sure, they did say
Depends
gross.
It is one person's spicy play is another man's gross play.
Yes.
But I loved it. I really loved that sequence because we haven't seen it really in Core Constructed. So getting to see it here with the Muses is super fun.
Yeah, I think so. And maybe it's only fun because we haven't seen it in so long. I'm sure if we were living back in an Infinity world, we might feel less fun about it.
That's true.
Oh, we've placed damage on that Tragic Beast, and that means that while it's not going to be able to draw, it is pretty scary. It's upset. It's mad. The Beast is raging.
It does get angry.
Yes, it does. As we see so many songs in hand.
Yeah, there's just a lot. And with those Muses on board, there's all sorts of shenanigans we can do. We can pull back the Ursula. We can bounce that Max Goof around. There is a Prince John in hand, and there he comes. Right. Now he's on the board. We're going to sing We Don't Talk About Bruno. Send that. Flavisham back to hand. And now we're going to do the random check to discard something, and that will draw a Wink a card. This is green, steel, doing green steel thing.
Yeah, so much green steel things happening as we do the most popular way of determining which card is random, which is to roll a dice and to arbitrarily decide that one of these numbers is actually a re-roll, and then pointing at a card anyway when you probably should have just done that.
Yeah. My favorite method is just hold out my hand and be like, pick one.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Let's just make it easier. Just point at the one you like.
Yep. That's how we did it back in the day.
Yeah, and let's just make it easy. As we see two Prince Johns. Oh no! In stereo, folks, we've got two Prince Johns. Oh man, this is gonna get sideways quick.
Yep.
Oh, what are we gonna do, Fetty? Fetty, help me! How are we gonna get out of here? We got to do this, bud. We can do this. Fetty's thinking through it. We see Hiram. Hiram is not to be disrespected. We saw it gone away. Bruno took it back through the walls, and Hiram said, no, I'm back. We're just kidding, folks. We're going to keep trying to draw some more cards.
Yep, looking for answers, trying to insulate it against that discard a little bit. The one nice thing is that Beast is offline, and Wink only has 2 cards in hand. One is a Storm, the other is the Max, so we can loop some of those around, but luckily there's not a lot of power there. Oh.
Might solve a mystery.
Or rewrite history.
DuckTales.
Ooh.
I saw you look at me and you're like, if you don't finish the song, Gabe, I swear I'm gonna get you. I saw the look in your eyes.
I was twitching a little bit.
I had to do it to you. I'm sorry, buddy.
That's okay. Spooky Side heading off to the discard pile there, a card which can help out. Well, it did help out. Sorry, I completely missed. I was singing stuff. I completely missed the Spooky Side play. There I did. It wiped the board. I was doing this thing where I was like, wait a second. 2 Prince Johns were there just a second ago. Yes, I was busy singing DuckTales.
Yes, distraction is hyper effective on Liam. As we play Strength
at the end of the day here.
Yes, we're in the unhinged phases. We're placing some damage on Hiram. We're bouncing back Max Goof.
And
we're playing Max Goof. We're bringing back strength. This is terrible, folks. What is that? Oh, my gosh.
no.
This is poison. This is terrible.
And Max Goof back to hand to do it all again next turn. But the whole turn spent doing that, though.
Yeah.
But it does leave Wink free to quest a little bit more. And by the way, had I seen that Spooky Sight play at the time, I would have been like, oh my goodness, what an incredible play. That Spooky Sight in here just for this reason, sending those Prince Johns to this card pile, so I'm going to make up for it there. But now back over to Fetty. He's brought himself some time with that Spooky Sight, and we're going to see what he manages to do here with his quite a few cards. So for a while, I thought Wink was just going to run away with this, but that Spooky Sight really reset things.
It really did. I mean, granted, Wink still has some very strong cards to manage the board. We've still got that Beast. That Muses is still a problem, still very clearly a problem, even without the Prince Johns. I mean, just being able to do what he did without that, and we're not really in a phase to discard. I don't see many options to discard anyway. So Prince John presenting some lore potential, some growth in lore, could have been a very dangerous place because of the ward on that card as well. But in terms of the discard, at least right now, it doesn't feel like it might be useful. But we're going to see if we draw some more discard cards.
Yeah, and again, you really have to establish two bodies each turn here. The reason this is critically important is because Wink is going to be able to loop that strength or loop other cards there to remove something every single turn if he wants to. And you really, the way to stop that at this point is Wink has two singers now, enabling him to do a lot of things. So if we can punish him for exerting those muses, we want to do that. So great to get two bodies on the board.
Absolutely. As we see some more drawing now, I mentioned earlier that the discard might not be relevant here, but we are drawing. Fortisphere, draw a card. Popsicle, draw a card. Vision, look at the card, grab a card, put it in hand. So many ways for Fetty to just continue to fill the hand with resources. Let's see if Fetty found anything that can solve some problems here.
Yeah, and he's slowly accumulating his win condition here, piling up a lot of ink, drawing this game out, putting items on the board, accumulating items in his discard pile that he can pull back. And so always keep an eye on the item count, because there is a world in which we win this game in one turn, maybe two. And so the longer this game goes on, the longer Fetty has to build up that pile of items.
Yes, just stockpiling, an inventory, if you will, of items, in fact. Yeah, and it's interesting here to see Wink make some decisions. We're filtering out our ink, looking at what we got to play, where we're going to play it. We are going to figure this out. Maybe Fetty is establishing his foothold though, and we're gonna see as Wink continues his turn.
There is that Max Goof. Here we go. We've seen this movie again. This is the sequel to the sequel. Strength of Raging Fire being pulled back. It will fire for 3.
Yep.
Plenty of ink to use with it here. So let's see which route we go.
All right. Okay, I was wondering if you were going to try to make that strength more effective, opting to go ahead and do what we did last time. Yes, this is the same combo that we've seen now a couple of times.
Oh.
Okay.
It's time, instead of pulling it, doing that again, we do the Strength of, or the Storm Rage on, pull a card back. So we did get the crab off the board and didn't have to use the muses. But again, it does feel good to keep those big threats off the board. You don't want to let him deploy an item for free. But every single time Wink has done this, and this is the third time, you spend an entire turn devoting all of your resources to looping that around. Now, you do have an extra card you drew off the top deck that advances you just a little bit. You do have some more ink, but really, every time you do that, it gives Fetty space, another turn, a breather to dig and to establish more items and to do the things he wants to do. So, and a workshop coming down now. This card can do some work.
Literally.
I didn't put that line
literally. No, you're good. You're 100% right, and it is quite literal. Whenever you play another item, you pay 1, you draw a card. This is a card that pre-rotation was a problem. Some variations of the Ruby Sapphire deck using it. Variations of this deck using that as well to just continue to amass lots of characters, lots of items. Items, of course, in this deck allow you to play things like Scrooge McDuck for free. It allows you to play Belle for free, as we've already seen on the table. And the Tragic Beast is no longer on the table, has been banished away into the discard pile.
It took 3 Strength of Raging, or Let Storm Rage ons over the course of 5 turns to finish that off.
Yeah. It's resilient. It's resilient.
It is resilient. Beast of a card.
Yep. Tragedy makes people stronger.
It's true. What doesn't hurt you
makes you stronger? Sure.
What doesn't kill you makes you stronger.
Oh, no. I will not be singing that with you, but I love you just the same. As we see this trio of muses staring down at a Scrooge McDuck at a Belle saying, hey, what are we going to do? I mean, we got 3 of us. We can sing songs, but the songs aren't going to be really effective at this moment. Can Wink figure this out as we draw a card?
Oh, not terrible off the top deck there.
Not the worst thing to see.
Yeah, we talked about how powerful Beast Tragic Heroes, what a shame it was, what a tragedy it was that Wink lost it last turn for him anyway. And here we have drew into another one. I think readying 5. I think we're going to see it here in short order.
Yeah, misery loves company because there's a second tragic hero on the table, or replacing the first one at least.
Yeah, beastly top deck for Fetty there. That card is going to fuel Wink into the later game, and he's used quite a bit of his damage dealing actions already. At least 3 Strength of Raging Fires on that previous beast, so will be limited in ways to shut this down, but does have plenty of card draw available.
Yes, absolutely does. I mean, and more to boot. We see plenty of cards in Fetty's hand, recovering from kind of an early stage where there was some cards that were being taken away from him. Was able to recover that with a string of popsicles, a string of Fortis Spheres, a couple of Hirams here and there, and that's all it takes. That's all the doctor needed. It's all the prescription you need to solve your problems, to keep your hand at a healthy rate. Tamatoa, bringing back 2 more of those things that let you draw cards. Holy moly.
He loves his items, and those items, those 1-cost items draw a card on their own, but now paired with this workshop, isn't going to enable Fetty to pull extra cards off the top deck, and there we're going to see it there. 1 and 2.
Oh, my goodness.
And again, maybe?
And you all thought Strength of a Raging Fire 3 times in the same turn was gross.
Yeah.
This is crazy.
Here we go. Tamatoa effectively saying, I play this character and you draw 4 cards.
Yeah. Wow. Wow.
We'll play a Scrooge McDuck for free just in case. We're going to pull out. What?
Oh,
what,
my goodness.
What was that? What?
We all need to read that. Show it to all of us. Something
Chat.
device. Chat, yeah.
What is this?
Chat, we need your help right now, chat.
What is this?
Help us.
Oh, no.
I believe the second word in that card was device. If you look up the word device, we might see it that way.
Yeah.
I knew it. I knew my
ingenious device.
Ingenious device.
You.
Thank
you.
Yes, you can exert this card. You pay 2 to banish this item. You draw a card, and then you choose and discard a card. Time grows short during your turn. When this item is banished, deal 3 damage to chosen character or location. That is pretty good.
What an ingenious inclusion for this deck, because, oh my goodness, this deck is one that loves to banish items. There's characters that love to eat it. There's all sorts of things you can do with it. Dealing 3 damage and cycling it is absolutely brutal. It is uninkable, so I can see why it would be a danger to include several of them in this deck, but having even one that you can cycle over and over and over again is pretty powerful.
Yes, it is. I mean,
wow.
That's a great inclusion. That one is from Whispers in the Well, so look at that. We're finding ways to use cards that are perfectly legal to use now, but we haven't. Infinity unlocks the ability to do that. This is crazy. Yeah, we are, in fact, non-blue steel announcers.
It's not non-blue steel. It's core constructed.
Yeah. There you go. There you go, Ocean Tempest.
It's core constructed, yeah. All the blue steel community is like, we were salivating when this card is printed. Like, we've been waiting for this card. We've been waiting for this moment.
Yes, this is our moment. You've brought it back. Thank you all, folks. But man, oh man.
Yeah.
Look at Fetty's board. Look at all the permanents. I talked about this earlier, actually, with Willoughby. So I've talked about the concept of permanence. And one of the things that I've talked to with players who have different feelings about Infinity, the idea around Infinity is that there's a lot of permanence, meaning there's a lot of cards that you play that just sit around on the table. Tons of it. I mean, look at Fetty's board. You've got about 4 or 5 times as many items as you have characters on the table. It feels like, and probably as many in the discard pile. These cards are going to be sticking around for a long, long time, unless you play something like Finum or Flatinum, which is currently not really in a typical build that you would expect to see of Emerald Steel.
Yeah, and here's that Max Goof again. I think this is the 4th time he's been played, pulling back that Strength of Raging Fire, choosing that Tamatoa, sending it off the board, and then we're going to bounce Max Goof back to hand. He skates in, he skates out. What a rascal! What a goofy card! And watching this loop with his muses is just oppressive. But now Fetty's saying, I've got an ingenious card that I can loop as well. Although we already have seen, I think, 3 Happy as a Clams sent to the discard pile. At least those So Shinies are kicking around in there, I'm sure. I do think I saw one in hand a while ago. So another card that can pull that device back. Popsicle being deployed here. And Fetty getting close to digging through his whole deck at this point, I'm sure.
Oh my goodness, yeah, I can only imagine that if we were to hit something like a Beyond the Horizon, that could be very punishing in this moment.
Another Fortisphere coming out. And beyond that, yeah, that is a card that Green Steel did run
Yeah.
at the end there. A couple of those that, ooh,
Yeah,
I shudder to think.
I loved it. It was a great card. Man, you want to really upset somebody? You thought that A Whole New World was bad? Holy moly! Just go ahead and lay down, turn some characters sideways and lay down and Beyond the Horizon and watch them just be really upset.
And there is that So Shiny we mentioned. It's going to pull a card back. It is the Ingenious Device getting looped back again and played again.
Yeah. Will Bell come into play? Will Bell make this useful? I guess we'll find out. There's so many bells already on the table. Will there be more? We'll hear him eat it, which I hope. I would recommend not anything that is explosive like that. I probably would not recommend eating it. Maybe we dismantle those.
Indigestion.
Yeah,
causes indigestion.
You have to have a pretty strong stomach.
Yeah, not ideal.
No, and you got to be pretty hungry to want to eat that too.
And we are going to ink and blow up.
No, we're using that first part where we're going to exert it. Oh, we are going to. Yes, we are.
Because you banish it to draw a card.
Yep.
And discard a card.
You do
and blow it up right away, getting that Deceiver off the board.
Oh, no.
Yeah, great move there. We know there's plenty of, and just to boot, getting that Pete off the board. And this is really impactful too. Like was that 3 strengths, like back to back?
3 strengths. That's what happens when you draw 17,000 cards, Liam.
Just holding them all in the hand, waiting for the right moment to just blow everything up. So it's 3 strengths coming down. Strength of Raging Fire, Force of a Great Typhoon.
Yeah.
And
Wow.
the next line, blowing up 3 characters there. Really, really fantastic turn. And I was about to comment on the power of Pete being on the board to add to the strength, but I'm not even going to bother at this point.
There's no need, because there's Max Goof again.
There's Max Goof.
There he is.
Max Goof going to pull back. Probably, I mean, at this point, to let the storm rage on. Or we do have some bigger songs. No! All the way from turn 1, making its return from the opening hand. It's Heffalumps and Woozles here being pulled back.
Wow.
But I forgot that card was down there. You know who didn't? Wink didn't.
He did not. And how relevant is that? We've got 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 items. That Tamatoa is representing 12 lore, but now it's not. Because, at least not for next turn, because that Heffalumps and Woozles will not allow it to quest.
Yeah, and that will huge play there, keeps that shut down. But there's
a lucky
the dime.
Who needs to exert a Tamatoa when you could exert a lucky dime
10,
instead?
11, 12.
Oh, man.
13 off that Tamatoa, or off that lucky dime.
That is devastating. Fetty just saying, fine, watch me. I won't quest. But this lucky dime will be, and Wink identifying that, saying, hey, you know what? Let's go ahead and let's go to game 3. But still different. And I think that is really, really cool, and what makes this game just so awesome.
I agree. You know, one thing that was missing, I really thought that Amber Steel aggro would be prominent in the meta today, and a lot of people run it. There weren't really many. There were a couple, but not a lot. And those who wanted to do the aggro really went dogs, which I found interesting.
I did too. I mean, I thought for sure, and I called it this morning, I thought for sure we were going to see Amber Steel, whether it was the Steel Song variant, whether it was the aggro version. I thought for sure that would just be everywhere, and it wasn't actually as everywhere as I thought it was. There were some. They did play it, but yeah, it was just difficult for them to get under the game plan.
And now, speaking of game plan, both decks on their game plan, with the Bell being dropped on turn 1, that Diablo on turn 1 over for Wink. We saw this every game, and he does have the Diablo shift in hand, but now a choice. That Bell representing a threat with Let the Storm Rage On, if you choose to use a good chunk of resources establishing that Diablo, and you do have the action there with Let the Storm Rage On, then you could be punished for it next turn.
Yeah, absolutely. And we're still in a very, turn 1 for each of these players. 1 ink, 1 character.
Yeah, but these are like the ripple decisions. Like, do you take the gamble? I don't think you do. What you can do to make yourself a little easier is you can check and see what's in there. No, there is no storm. And so this is a really great turn 2 play when you can check, do you got it? You don't. And so now feeling great about throwing that Diablo there, establishing it back. And these are the moments where you top deck the storm.
Oh, did we?
Do you top deck it?
Oh, we're inking a Tipo. Oh, no, it's a vision, but we're going to maybe find it. We can still find it.
I think that was it.
I think we can find it. Oh, no. Debating. Okay, so we're debating. We're thinking through. Fetty's thinking about it, choosing a card. We could not see it, unfortunately, which I do love a good surprise. Don't get me wrong.
Did he find the storm?
Did we find it? Fetty, don't slow play us, my friend. Just lay it down. If you got it.
Oh.
No, he doesn't. Okay.
So many cards to find it if you include the altar. What a bummer there, because that's really what you wanted to shut this down. That bell is the Diablo counter.
Yes.
It's almost like they gave it to us on a platter and said, "Hey, Diablo's been a problem. Here you go. How would you like to sing Storm on turn turn 2?" But unfortunately, not a line there. So that Diablo is going to have another turn to do some work. And now, even worse, if you have a strength, and I don't think Wink does, because I think he discarded it. If you had a strength, that bell would be removed, and it would really shut down the way back into this. So.
It absolutely would. Now, another card, one of my favorite cards, I made sure, this was the first card that I got a full play set foiled, and that was Sudden Chill. Yes, Liam, I'm sorry. I was a discard player. Please don't be mad at me.
As you were saying that, I was looking at the hand. I was saying, surely he's not about to say Sudden Chill. Surely he's not about to say a discard card is his favorite card.
It really is. I'm sorry. I'm a terrible person. I need to go to a meeting and talk to people about how terrible I am. But we do see the Diablo. We see the Ursula exert for some lore.
Now I want to know if he has the Ink Runner. I have not managed to see. There it is!
Hey,
there it is!
There you go. Got him.
And there's the Ink Runner once again coming down. And we're going to see most likely an Ink, most likely Belle hop onto that Ink Runner. She is an inventor, maybe tuning up a bit and sliding over there, knocking that Diablo into the discard pile.
Yes.
That feels really good right now.
Yeah, I mean, Fetty didn't, it wasn't even, there wasn't a single blink in his eye. There was just the immediate placement of that card with that ink saying, hey, maybe I didn't get that Let the Storm Rage On. Maybe I didn't get a Strength of a Raging Fire, but I did get something pretty cool. Ink Runner is pretty cool. And the MVP now, having done this twice to this Diablo with an Ink Runner.
Yeah, now Wink taking his entire turn to establish the Muses, and that card we saw what shenanigans it can do. Taking a peek at the rest of the hand, though, he does have a Deceiver check. He does have a Diablo, both kind of innocuous, but that 5-turn Tragic Beast is pretty oppressive. Now, Fetty establishing his Scrooge McDuck will look for the top cards of his deck for an item, does find the Fortisphere, pulling it into hand. It does feel like there's a window here. Fetty will have to have some answers for the Tragic Beast, and Wink is establishing some tools, but it feels like things are, so far, they're well in hand.
Yeah. I mean, neither board too far ahead. Neither character has stolen any tempo necessarily, although Beast Tragic Hero does this really cool thing where you start drawing cards real quick and can change the complexion of the game dramatically.
And rule number 1 of TCGs is more cards is better.
Really? That's crazy. I don't know what you're talking about. I try to get rid of cards, specifically my opponent's cards. So I have the opposite thing. I'm trying to ruin your day. I don't want you to have any cards. That's my thing.
And it's more cards in your hand is better.
Oh,
I'm sorry. Yeah, I should have clarified.
got confused.
I should have clarified. Sudden chill. I just slid my chair a little bit further away.
So we were friends and then we were enemies, but that's okay. I'll make up the difference. Once the Infinity's done and we go back to Core Constructed, you'll love me again.
That's fair. That's fair. So stepping into that beast here feels really good. It's one of the 3 primary draw engines in this deck that allow you to run away with the game. Yeah. Fetty would love to do something to it here. And the other thing is having to spend an entire turn dealing with it. He does have a card, means he's not advancing his board state any. So you may be forced to just let it do its thing for a turn or two.
Yeah. And speaking of doing things, there's 2 Ursulas in hand. And we've got a Deceiver and we have a Deceiver of All. Wink kind of showing us what they are there. Fetty is inking. Oh, maybe not, but deciding to ink that Tamatoa in order to.
Is it a Flavisham?
It's a resourceful miser. It is the Scrooge McDuck who finds another one. So this is a second Scrooge that finds a second item. Fetty's got to be feeling good about the value he's received from these cards.
Yeah, and this is pretty good here. I mean, you didn't remove that beast, but you're establishing some big bodies, which doesn't allow anything to sing over there or do any questing, so you're just kind of checking that right now. It does give you a couple other cards to sing. Wink here going to do the check. Going to take a look. Nothing there.
Nothing. Still nothing. At least nothing that can be dealt with an Ursula, as we then go ahead and play that Ursula Deceiver of All.
Yeah, and so Fetty here would love to draw something off the top deck, deal with that Deceiver of All, perhaps a song that can be sung. But unfortunately, Wink is rather low on cards right now, dumping out those 2 Ursulas.
Yep.
He does have another, I think that's another Deceiver of All in hand. He's going to need a song to use with it.
So much deception going on. We need to be more truthful with one another, folks, and stop being deceitful. But Wink doesn't agree.
Agreed.
Well, Wink doesn't agree. That's why he's got so
not.
many of them. My goodness. As we see, Hiram, again, I can't imagine why this card was ever a problem. What a great card. Draw 2 cards by banishing an item. We got to love it. As we see Tipo hit the Inkwell. And yet another popsicle.
It's really his, looking at why this card is so powerful, it's really his interplay ability.
Yeah.
If he just, 8 items on quest and you had to wait for a turn, it would be a really balanced card, I think. But the fact that you gain value from him, he replaces himself and then some immediately, is what made him so problematic in core constructed. But doing some work here in Infinity. And of course, as the game goes on and we get more cards in Infinity, there will be more answers for Hiram and decks that can overpower him. So perhaps in this format, he can stick around and shine a little bit longer. But for sure, we see that the power of him here, and Blue Steel players super excited to have him at their disposal in this format.
Absolutely. I mean, we know that the plan here for Wink is to discard. Discard is a huge part of it. Removal in cards like Let the Storm Rage On. So with a Deceiver of All on the table, having that Hiram can certainly insulate some of that damage from having lost cards in hand and just continuing to put pressure on Wink, which is exactly what you need to do to win this matchup, as we see Wink right now filtering through the hand.
Yeah, he's got some dangerous cards on board. That Deceiver of All is a menace. He does have a Sudden Chill in hand, but Wink Fetty has so many cards that's not an incredibly impactful play. I think we're going to do it because we got nothing else to do right now. Discarding 2 feels pretty good. He is going to discard the Dime. The Dime being in the discard pile is fine in this deck. You pull it back with all sorts of crabs. So you just kind of stash it down there for later, store it away. So it's kind of a free discard. It's uninkable. And so, yeah, there it is.
Yeah, it's a Mousecatool for later on, my
It's
friend.
a Mousecatool. Oh, toodles. If you know, you know.
Yes, and that's how you know we have kids.
All right. And that song being double sung will go to the bottom of the deck. And now there's a couple other options here. The Deceiver is going to do another check. Take a look. Nope. I got Flavisham's for days and a workshop.
Yeah, lots of items, lots of Flavishams, and no songs. Wink just making sure one more time, or just trying to continue to put a board presence out there, trying to have characters that make math weird for Fetty.
Yeah, there isn't, again, a lot of wide removal in this deck. There is that Spooky Site, though, which you could play into. But one of the reasons you put characters out, I mean, again, just more characters on the board is better. But also, you're going to get to a point where Fetty is dropping crabs on the board, big, high willpower characters. And so if you draw into a Strength of Raging Fire, fueling it with 5 or 6 characters on the board feels pretty good.
It does. And Wink,
you just oohed.
Yes, Wink being able to play that, and then along came Zeus. Fetty's board is looking kind of frightening here, as we've got Wink with 4 characters, a Scrooge staring down a Beast, a Muses, and 2 Ursulas. And so has Wink turned the corner on this thing? Hiram says no.
Flavisham coming down, munching on that popsicle, going to get 2 cards out of it. At this point, though, I mean, really nice to have more resources available. You'd love to find a Fishbone Quill or something to make use of these extra cards. Because Fetty's doing a lot of card drawing. He's finding a lot of answers. He's cycling through his deck, but only able to play 1 or 2 cards a turn with the amount of ink that he's accumulated so far. This deck loves a big inkwell. And Wink, I mean, not quite turning the corner yet, but definitely able to establish some tools out there to play with, and he's just waiting on a song that Ursula Deceiver of All can sing.
There's that ingenious device again.
Yep.
Now we see the Miser dealing with effectively that Tragic Beast Hero, which is so sad because we love a good tragedy. We love to draw cards. And unfortunately, Beast will not be doing that for Wink.
Yeah, and a small check there. The look is to make sure the language. Most people know if you play the card, but just in case, the Beast does get stronger. He gets angrier when he has damage on him, but that only applies during the player's turn, during Beast's turn, because you do the check at the start of turn, and then he gains that strength. So Scrooge able to challenge in there, not feeling the Beast's wrath on Fetty's turn.
Yes, but very, very something that I recommend everybody to do. If you're not 100%, even if you're only 99%, you should 100% pick up that card. You should 100% read that card.
Yeah, and Flavisham there blowing up that ingenious device and blasting that Ursula off the board. That ingenious device, it has an ability to activate itself to go to the discard pile to deal damage. It gives you a little bit of benefit, but it's whenever it is banished. And so when Flavisham eats it, when Bell looks at it, anything, whenever it goes to the discard pile from a banish effect, then you're going to get that benefit. So it feels really good if Flavisham eats it to draw 2 cards and deal 3 damage.
Yeah.
What an ingenious card.
Really? It absolutely is. And as we see 2 Muses on the table right now for Wink, double Muse all the way across the sky, that could be very, very problematic for Fetty. depending on what cards he chooses. Now, these muses are down now, which means Fetty, as long as you've got some cards and some ways to maneuver this, there are play lines that you can play around this, making sure your characters are above 2 strength, very much like this Resourceful Miser. Just keep it, if you can keep it above that, then you're fine. Now, the thing is we know, having seen Wink's deck from Game 2, Wink is less concerned about your characters and is very, very particularly fond of Max Goofenbach tons of songs.
Oh, man. That loop.
Yeah.
That loop.
It's a Max loop, you know? It's absolutely a Max loop.
Yeah.
Oh, the workshop is back. We're starting to amass those items.
Yeah, and it does feel like, I mean, both players, still plenty of avenues to victory here. At this point in the game, like usually the blue steel player likes to have a fishbone quill that they're leveraging, or they've run into some other ramp cards, and they're also accumulating the item pile. Now, a giant pile of items in the discard pile, but again, the longer this game goes on, that item pile, that ink pile, gives that blue steel player like the path to victory. So he needs to think about closing it out. As we're doing some lore resets here.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. There we go.
Just do some confirmation.
Because even though it does feel like Wink's been on his back, but he has managed to claw up to 7, and every time he manages to clear the board through some Max Goof shenanigans or something like that, he gives himself the opportunity to quest a few times. So it does look like, I think Fetty has the wider lane to victory, but Fetty or Wink's certainly not out of this at all.
No, and just little by little amassing those items. We know Tamatoa is on its way at some point. Tamatoa loving these items as we use that fishbone quill to send a card into our inkwell, presumably in uninkable, but doesn't have to be, and I don't have to show you, which is also pretty cool.
Yeah, and here we go. This is a couple impactful items. The workshop being online, the fishbone quill though being there is really good. You want to draw cards. This deck likes to draw a lot of cards. The workshop is going to help you draw, a couple cards per turn, 3 cards per turn. If you can play a few, but you can also ink every turn, that's where this deck really starts to shine, is where you just have this blob of ink out there, this ink ocean.
Yes. It's just a puddle to an ocean to a river, all of the above, as we strength the beast away.
Tragically for Wink.
Poor beast. So sad.
So it's back over to him, and he just, again, it's a really unfortunate top deck there. He needs card draw, so he is going to slam that Pete down, say, hey, no actions, and that's it. Chuckle, pass it back over to Fetty, and wait for him to take his item-filled turn. And, this deck, once again, all the way back, this deck is a value engine. This deck it really overpowers your opponents with card draw, with Diablos, with Prince Johns, and with beasts.
Yeah.
And when it doesn't stick one of those cards and it isn't doing the thing, it has a really difficult path to victory.
It does. Let me ask you, Liam, very important question. Are you a Pete upside down person when you play it? Is that you, or do you play it normally and just declare it?
I'm not a degenerate, so I don't play Pete, but if I did, I would play him upside down.
Okay.
No, I'm just kidding. I love you all, Steel players. I am Emerald Amethyst stan, and I love it. And Pete, Steel ruins my day all the time. But no, I appreciate. The game is better when board states are clear to all the players, and so I appreciate the Pete being played upside down to remind my opponent, hey, you can't.
I would agree.
You can't.
I would agree. Now, speaking of Tamatoa, I summoned it. It is here. The Tamatoa has made its arrival. As we see, we've got enough items to exert 4 of them to play the Resourceful Miser for free, netting another item. So we are getting to the point now where that Tamatoa gets scarier and scarier. Can Wink either deal with the Tamatoa or deal with the items? That is going to be, it looks like, the story of this game, if Wink can get to a conclusion of the story. And Wink looking at the discard pile just to confirm, just to see what have we seen so far, what can I expect to see. You want to be able to play at the highest level. You got to know what's waiting for you in the discard pile.
Yeah, and I just don't know, with everything out there right now, I don't know what gets Wink back into this. He's representing 3 lore. He can go up to 10. But even if you establish one of your big threats, Beast, is just not enough. It's slow. And Prince John, you need to pair it with a discard. I'm not sure what's in his hand.
Yeah, it's going to be tough.
And that's not great. It will allow you to see another card. But it is, it's a Deceiver of All in hand.
Yeah.
So just tough here. I mean, you're most likely going to play this, sling some damage out there just to see another card, dig a little deeper.
You You gotta dig a little deeper. That's a card. We can't sing that until we see it. But I love that song. Either way, we are dealing damage. We are doing so with Let the Storm Rage On onto the Resourceful Miser, which also lets you draw a card. Can Wink draw himself out of this problem as we play the Ursula Deceiver? There's another strength dealt with, showing now the cards in hand, saying, you know what? There's so many. Just take it, dude.
Just look. I don't want to mess up my board state.
Yeah, there you go.
Ink Runner is so shiny.
And notably, Wink joking as we take care of that strength. But it doesn't matter because there's another one. And Wink, of course, Wink is a jokester, of course. If you don't know Wink, he is a jokester.
No, not that strength. The strength. I don't like the look of that one. Playing it up for the camera here. I appreciate that. These two having a good time.
Yes.
As Fetty takes his turn. And man, these item decks. You pass it over to Fetty. It's like, you know.
Yes.
Wink.
Yeah. Here's a card. Your turn.
Card. Pass. These item decks.
Yes.
It's when these item decks are going against you, and every turn is a tick, 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 tick.
Yeah.
It could be. I mean, these games can go long.
Yeah. And in the chat, I'm seeing it. The machine is turning on. That's exactly what it feels like. It feels like a machine. There's these sequences that are happening, multiple triggers going into the bag, happening at the same time, and just trying to figure out which way it goes and how we solve them to get to that magic number 20.
Yeah, and these are, I like to call this deck an engine builder deck. You build the engine on the board, and in this instance, even with the board state we have, and we're still missing other cards that are part of this engine, but Flavisham, eats the popsicle. It draws 2 cards, and then Tamatoa Quest pulls the popsicle back. You play the popsicle, draw a card off the workshop, gain some lore, drawn a bajillion cards, and that's the engine in action.
It is, yeah, absolutely. Speaking of the engine in action, there's a lot of moving parts to it. Wink trying to confirm that we understand it as the lucky dime hits the table, which advances this clock by 2, or I guess decreases by 2. X2.
Yeah. So
I'm not good at math, Leo.
That's all right. And coming in there, so with that, I think we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 items, or 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So it's questing for 6 with the dime that sees 7. So that's, and a couple other questing, and that is it. Bam, bang, bing, bang, boom. Crab dime, and that's all she wrote. It's a story that's been told ever since Lucky Dime was printed back in set 3. And Lucky Dime was a card that came out. People saw.
And we are here after a phenomenal top 8 match. I am joined by Fetty on the Sapphire Steel strategy in Infinity. Came out and got it done. But Fetty, I saw you playing some Core Constructed. You're playing some Control there. I met you in a few tournaments a while ago and down in Texas. But now here we are. Talk to us about Infinity. Talk to us about Sapphire Steel. Why did you play it?
All right, so Friday I got 9th.
Yeah.
Saturday I started 3-0 with green blue. I played green blue both days.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, I started 3-0 and then I got green purple burn right after.
Yeah.
And I'm like, there's only like 2 or 3 of you guys in this bracket. How is this all right? But it is what it is. I'm X2. I'm still in contention. And then I think I lose a roll to all of them, by the way.
Yeah.
Say why not? And then I think I lost round 7 or something to like Amber Steel, like aggro, who won the roll, and Daisy. Yeah. Anyway, it was wraps, and then I'm like, well, my flight's not until tomorrow, so like I might as well just play, right? So I brought my Infinity cards and I just built it last second.
Okay, and it just so happened to be Sapphire Steel, the Sapphire Steel strategy. I mean, going against the Green Steel discard, a lot of people think that is a sleeper pick in this Infinity meta. Have you had the opportunity to do any Infinity testing at all, or you just slammed the deck together?
I
and came out
slammed
here
it together, straight up slammed it. Yeah.
That's crazy. When did you start playing?
This game?
Yes.
The beginning of set 5.
Okay.
Like my girlfriend and I, we wanted to get into a card game together. I used to play Yu-Gi-Oh, but realistically, it's not worth it. I'm falling kind of like out of love with the game.
Right.
Shout out to everyone, that still plays. I still, those are all my good friends.
Okay.
But more or less, we wanted to get into a game. We started playing. And so we just went, they had a bunch of sealed draft events, and we just started going to all those, and we just learned the game.
Well, we're happy to have you here, and we're glad that you are going to join us. And we're playing this Infinity event. What are your thoughts on Infinity overall? I mean, are you enjoying your time playing it, or is it like a? I know you say you came in and set 5, so maybe didn't have the most amount of time with some of these super high power cards. But going back from Core Constructed into Infinity, that stark contrast of all the great cards we have. What are some of your thoughts on Core Constructed versus Infinity?
Right now, I'm not going to lie. Like Infinity, I would think it was just, I don't know, I just wouldn't like it, but I love it.
Yeah.
I feel like I'm sorry, but I feel like I'm playing a different game.
Yeah.
Like when I sit down and I'm looking at my hand and I'm playing as you can see, like sometimes it gets to a point where there's like no return. Like I'm just playing a different game than you, and like majority, I didn't lose once.
Okay.
My one loss, I gave my girlfriend the win, so we could hopefully both top.
Okay.
So that was round 2.
Okay, a little collusion. All right, we're not going to admit to that.
What?
Okay, we are playing fair.
I just wanted her top.
I'm kidding.
It's fine.
I'm kidding, but that's really awesome that you and your girlfriend are both out here playing and having a good time together, and maybe you can get both into a nice finish. But here we are going into, I believe, the top 4. How do you feel about your position in this bracket and what's going to be coming next?
I feel great.
You feel great?
I mean, I'm pretty low seed. I'm going second more or less, but I've won a lot of matches going second anyway.
Okay.
I mean, I went second here, and I mean, he drew probably the most optimal his deck can all 3 games.
Okay.
And I was able to fight back game 3. So
have you played any spice today? Anything you would consider spice? Are you playing more of the standard meta stuff that you would expect?
I don't know what's standard. I mean, honestly, like let's be real. Like the last event was Milwaukee. Milwaukee, like the Sunday event, right?
Yeah.
That's the last biggest like Infinity tournament. And it's a different meta because there's cards that were printed in set 10 that make this deck a way different deck.
Yeah.
Starting with Ink Runner, spoiler.
Yeah, Ink Runner. Go any other cards that you're playing. I mean, I know I might saw a mystery. I think it's a card that can be played.
That card, I love that card.
Yeah, Ink Runner's great. What any other cards from the new sets post rotation that you got in the deck?
I can't think of it. Honestly, I think that's just those cards.
Okay.
That's it.
Well, right on, Fetty, man. It's really nice to see you again, and congratulations on your victory. I know you had a long, grindy match. We want to let you get to one of those breaks, man. And before we go, any shout-outs you want to give? Just really quick before you got to use the bathroom.
Shout out Doe, shout out Andy, shout out my girlfriend. You know, we all kind of took this trip, and they didn't play Lorcana, Riftbound. And shout out to everyone back in Dallas. Shout out to my boys that play Yu-Gi-Oh, the Bozo Chord. You guys know who you are, but yeah.
Right on.
Everyone to support.
Right on, man. Well,